Welcome to Jewish World Weekly on I-24 News. I'm Emily Francis. Each week, we're focusing on stories, issues, and personalities of Jewish interest, both here in Israel and throughout the global Jewish community, the diaspora. And we're starting with our top 5 items in the Jewish world, presented by Sarah Rogers. Hi, Sarah.
Thanks, Emily. Here are the top 5 items in the Jewish world this week. Has convicted 4 men for their roles in the attacks on Maccabi Tel Aviv fans in Amsterdam last November. The 4 men, aged between 22 and 32, have been sentenced for anti-Semitic threats, attacking the Israeli fans, and pointing out their locations. They have been jailed for between 1 to 3 months in the attacks that Israel called a, quote, pogrom. The US Justice Department has created a new task force designed to prosecute terrorists who were involved in October 7th. Called JTF 10-7, the Justice Department says that they will investigate acts of terrorism by individuals and entities providing support and financing to Hamas, related Iran proxies and their affiliates, as well as acts of anti-Semitism by these groups. This comes amid a crackdown from the Trump administration on college campus protest leaders. A handful of European personalities are boycotting a conference on anti-Semitism set up by the Israeli government itself because of its invitation to European far-right political groups. Individuals including the Chief Rabbi of the UK, Ephraim Mervis, French intellectual Bernard-Henri Lévy, and ADL Chief Jonathan Greenblatt are some of the names that have been pulled out of the conference, citing its inclusion of far-right politicians from France, Spain, and Hungary. This comes as the Israeli Foreign Ministry has been openly reaching out to the pro-Israel far-right parties of Europe. Gal Gadot has become the first Israeli actress to have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The star of Wonder Woman and the recently released Snow White movie was emotional as she became the 2,804th recipient of the star, saying, quote, "If a girl from Rosh Hashanah can get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, then anything is possible." Dozens protested the event, citing Gadot's support for her home country and the IDF. And a medieval manuscript, believed to be the oldest Jewish book in the world, is now on display in New York City. The 1,300-year-old book was discovered in Afghanistan in 1997 and was written by Jews who lived among the Buddhists who ruled the Bamiyan Valley. Known as the Afghan Siddur, it features poems, prayers, and the Passover Haggadah. Those are your top 5 items in the Jewish world this week. Back to you, Emily.
Election for the 2025 World Zionist Congress in the wake of the October 7th massacre and subsequent war against Hamas. Now, for the first time since 2020, elections are being held for a seat at the table in shaping Israel's future, influencing Jewish communities worldwide and supporting Zionism. And in the first week of voting, twice as many people cast ballots than 5 years ago. And the winning 152 delegates from the U.S. will join representatives from all around the world. And we are joined now from New York by Herbert Bloch, the executive director of the American Zionist Movement, which organizes the World Zionist Congress elections. Hello, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me to talk about this.
Yes, this is, I know, a very important election at such a pivotal time in the story of the Jewish people. Please, if you can, explain to our viewers the role. Many know the World Zionist Congress, but not exactly what the role entails. So please share that for us.
So thank you. The Zionist Congress that will meet this October is the 39th World Zionist Congress, continuing directly in the footsteps of the Zionist Congress convened by Theodor Herzl. And the modern Zionist Congress is a global Jewish parliament. It's a grassroots body of 525 delegates elected from around the world, from almost 40 countries, who come together in October every 5 years to set the direction and policy for the national institutions of Israel, the Mosdot Halumim, which are the World Zionist Organization, the Jewish Agency for Israel, Karen Kayemet L'Israel Jewish National Fund, and the Karen HaYesod. And these sort of quasi-governmental institutions that are the link between Israel and the Jewish diaspora worldwide together allocate over $1 billion a year in funding for different projects, and not just funding, but priorities for how those institutions allocate their resources. over the coming years. And American Jews are about a third, the delegates from America are about a third of those at the Zionist Congress, and American Jews have an opportunity to participate in directly electing those representatives. There are 22 different parties running an election that started on March 10th and continues until May 4th. And voting is done online through the American Zionist Movement, AZM, which is the Zionist Federation in the United States. We're the umbrella convening body, and we organize the election in the United States for American Jews.
So obviously, I imagine you're not surprised so far. The turnout just in the beginning has doubled from the last time. Clearly, things have changed. What does this tell us? Is it a different kind of person than years past? Are we seeing younger people wanting to take on this role in light of all the advocacy that has followed October 7th?
So there are, as I mentioned, 22 different slates. We knew there was greater interest in the last election. There were 14. There are many new parties that have come forward to run in the election. Different segments of the Jewish community that are actively involved. There are more young candidates, many activists from colleges who are involved in different slates. And in general, we're seeing a resurgence of interest in Zionism. While the Jewish people in the state of Israel have been under attack, many people want to rally around our community, around Zionism, and stand up for Zionism and say, this is a moment where I want to be involved. I want to have a say. I want to reaffirm my Zionism or express my opinion. So some of this interest began even before October 7th. There was a lot of interest in the Jewish diaspora and the American Jewish community about debates going on in Israel around the judicial reform and the Kotel and all sorts of other issues, even before October 7th. And obviously, since October 7th, the community has rallied together, and there are a lot more people who are involved in this. I see you're showing a little video in the background there. We do have a video on the AZM website that explains this election and why it's important for people to participate. It takes less than 5 minutes to vote. It's very easy, and it costs $5, which covers the cost of the election and verification of the voter and processing. And as of now, the turnout is almost double, or excuse me, more than double where it was 5 years ago in this election.
Wow, incredible, and obviously a very pivotal year with a lot of work ahead for the Congress. Thank you very much, Herbert Bloch, the Executive Director of the American Zionist Movement. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
He's a Jewish comedian who continues to find humor even the most challenging times. Modi has been taking his unique shtick on the road, bringing laughs and relief to audiences all over the world.
We recently did 23andMe. It said 99.8% Jewish. That was it. The pie chart was a matzah ball with a toothpick in it. The results came back in Yiddish. Then they give you your health risks. What are my health risks? The hypertension, the cholesterol? No, Nazis and Kanye. That's my health risks.
And we are now so happy to be joined by Modi. Hello, my friend in New York. Good to see you.
How are you? You put a clip on with no laugh track from the audience. So that was probably, it's like someone, let's go see a show with no laughter.
But you don't need a laugh track because you get the live laughs in real time. Obviously, Kanye, I mean, this is not a new clip that we saw. Kanye keeps giving a reason for comedians to come up with stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. Not just him, everybody.
Yes.
There's so much happening nonstop. It just doesn't stop. You have to you can, because anything you do 1 week, the following week, people already forgot about it.
I know. That must be pretty complicated being a comedian, because it's true. Every week is a brand new chapter. So, here you are in a way between two worlds. You got your Jewish comedy, you love Israel, and now here you are with a whole new layer, I guess you could say, in the past few months. So I imagine you're getting a lot of material with what's going on right now.
I'm getting a lot of material. We are on a full new hour from the Know Your Audience show that's already out, and it's called Pause for Laughter because it's exactly what people need now. Or just have with all that you're being bombarded with news and it doesn't. You just don't know what's happening in the ceasefire, no ceasefire. You just need to take a few moments to just laugh. And that's why I like to have our podcast and our Instagram. Whenever you land on our page, there's a laugh. It's not news. It's not anything groundbreaking. It's just easy.
And explain why, I mean, we all know this, but why laughter and sometimes dark humor is a way to get through dark times, so to speak.
I literally have people tell me at the meet and greet after the shows, it goes, before I go to bed at night, I just watch a few of your clips and then I can fall. It's like it takes them, out of the whole world of what's happening around them, or if it is about what's going on in the world, it's with humor and they can laugh and they can share it with their friends. And it's just literally pausing for laughter and however you can do it, comedy, stand up, make it. I always say, be the friend that brings the friends to the comedy show. You know, even if it's not me, go see a comedy show, bring a few friends. It's the best thing you can do.
For sure. Now tell us about your tour. I mean, you're going to be in the States and you're going to be going to Germany. So I imagine, I know you have a pretty loyal audience there. I mean, how do you make, jokes about back in the day?
Well, we're finishing up a big leg of the Americas, being in America. We just did Los Angeles. We have a few shows left. And then we're going to Manchester, Munich, Geneva, Antwerp, and Warsaw. We'll be performing in Warsaw. It's Warsaw, Poland. This Jewish comedy is coming to Warsaw, Poland.
That is,
yes.
Have you found that sometimes the audiences in these places, it's also healing for them, given the history I mean, are you nervous making these jokes there?
No, I'm never. The audience is going to be amazing, and they speak English, and they're great, and it's just the whole thought of it, not that long ago, 80 years ago, whatever it was, they were collecting us into train stations, and now we're coming together and having comedy night, and there's a Jewish community that's like kind of there, and they're coming to laugh. It's Mashiach energy is what it is.
And I mean, when you are able to travel and go to different places, do you find that each city, each community has its own energy?
Can I tell you something? Whenever we go anywhere, something organic happens. People reach out to us, the head of the community or some restaurant or somebody that says, hey, we have a museum thing happening this week. Why don't you come? Or everywhere we go, any city we go to, from Venice to England and to London and all of that. And there's always something organic happens with my audience. And it's fun. And we post about it and we talk about it and that's like a lot of what the podcast is about.
Yeah.
And it's great. And it's organic. It's not pushed or forced,
Which is so pleasant. Okay, quick, 30 seconds. I have an idea. Why haven't there ever been a comedy jam? You get Kanye, you get Chappelle, and let's just have a debate through comedy. Has anyone thought of that before?
I always think about that, and I always think that the comedian should be running stuff. And there is an Iranian comedian that I think that I'll be doing a show with, and that's just it, just like bringing that energy together of just comedy as like I always said, I've said it on this show, the Knesset, the Congress, all the governments, when they begin, they should start with 5 minutes of comedy, and then start their arguing and debating. And imagine in the Knesset, right before they start screaming at each other, there's somebody just doing 5 minutes of comedy, or maybe challenge one of the Knesset members to do it, and just. That's what it is.
Not a bad idea.
I strongly suggest now, and I really suggest making comedy a part of your life. Go see comedy shows, especially mine, and the tickets are on my website. And there's always some show near you, or let your friend know who's near one of my shows. That hey, go see this show. Bring a little laughter into your life, and it's so good.
Clearly, the best medicine. Modi, thank you so much. Good to see you next year in Israel. It's been a grueling few months for Los Angeles after multiple fires left thousands without homes and without their nostalgic possessions, which were left in ashes. Well, now the LA chapter of the National Council of Jewish Women has banded together to help those who need not only the basic essentials, but also the things that make us happy. I-24 News correspondent Joe Brown has the story.
Providing relief for those who lost everything.
We've been collecting donated goods, both new and gently used, and doing an enormous amount of sorting to really put the best goods that we received here so that folks who have been impacted by the fires can benefit directly from all this support from the community and really feel the love of Los Angeles.
A brand new 20,000 square foot fire relief center has opened up in Altadena, Southern California, to help people who were affected by the Eaton fire that ravaged Los Angeles in January this year. Set up by the LA chapter of the National Council of Jewish Women, the relief fund will be selling essentials such as toiletries and hygiene products, but will also allow those who lost their homes, possessions or jobs in the fire to shop in comfort.
I think a lot of donated goods, people receive bags of things that may or may not fit and may or may not accommodate their own style. And here we're hoping people can have an experience that feels warm and normal and really helps them to start to feel like things are the same as they were or that they can be again.
It also adds an air of normalcy in these tricky times.
The importance of doing it now versus a couple months ago is at that time, people maybe got some things that they needed urgently, a couple outfits to wear, but they have to replace an entire closet and for their children and for their spouses and partners. And that's what we're trying to do here.
The center will remain open for a month and has been heavily relying on kind donations from the public.
Jews around the world recently celebrated Purim, a holiday of dressing up in costumes and experiencing joy. And this year, a special exhibition in Ferrara, Italy, is showing how history is coming full circle in an amazing way. A rare illustrated Queen Esther scroll that was inscribed in the northern Italian city over 400 years ago has come home. Joining us now from Ferrara, Italy, is Amado Spagnoletto, the director of the National Museum of Italian Judaism and the Shoah. He's also one of the curators of the exhibition Bellissima Esther. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno to you, Emily, and all the people who are seeing us.
We're very happy to have you joining us. I know that the museum is a labor of love. It took several years to build. It's still quite new. Tell us about the museum and why a lot of the unknown history of the Italian Jews notable over millennia. Tell us more.
We established the museum at the end of the 2017 with a very important exhibition devoted to the first 1,000 years of the permanence of the Jews here in Italy. That records from the 2 centuries before the normal era. But right now, in these 5 years that we passed, we are almost to the 8 years of the activities of our museum. We had a very important exhibition devoted to the ghetto era and also to the Renaissance era, because it's so important, Ferrara, with this crucial period of the Renaissance that is in the same case connected also with this Megillah that was illuminated by Moshe Poscarolo, and now is one of the most important loan that we had in this important exhibition devoted to Purim.
It really is so beautiful. I know it's ironic. It was made there, and it's been in the National Library in Israel, and now, they're loaning it. So on loan was something that generated from there, and you're right. You think of the Renaissance, people equate Florence and, Venice, but Ferrara was a very important center for publishing, and the Jews were very involved in that craft, correct?
Yes, exactly. From the middle period, the Jews settled here in Ferrara, but the most important period of their presence here in Ferrara was connected with the house of Este, when in the beginning of the 60th centuries, all the Marranos and the Sephardic people, very, very many people coming from Spain and Portugal came here, welcomed by the House of Esther, and was the centuries when there was a very brilliant permanence and also producing. You spoke about the House of Publishing for perhaps you mentioned you wanted to speak about the Usque family who published the very, very well an important edition of the Bible translated in Spanish, and was also thanks to one figure that operated here just for a couple of years, 3 years, that was Gracia Nassi.
Yep.
That that was a Marranos, and after, came back to the Judaism when he settled here in Italy, in Venice, and after in Ferrara, coming at the end to Istanbul, and was an interpreter, very, very important with her family.
She was such an important figure. Also, the Ferrara Bible, it was the first Sefer Torah in Ladino that was actually made in Ferrara as well, yeah?
Yes, was in Spanish languages, and is very, very, very well. And we have one copy here in Ferrara at the city library, and we had it for a while here in the museum.
Let's quickly talk, because we're almost out of time, and this is for another era. But listen, Jewish people have been in Italy since Roman times, some say before. Why is it so important, the fact that it's a national museum in the country which we've seen a lot of anti-Semitism has also been supportive of this institution? Explain why that's very important.
Of course, this institution is very, very important also to fight concretely the anti-Semitism, and specifically in this period, I want to underline a lot of schools coming here to know better or to come across a knowledge about the presence of the Judaism here in Italy. Because here in Italy, there are a lot of, just a couple of important communities, but the presence of and also the synagogues and cemeteries of the Jewish are present in very, very important places here in Italy. And through our museum, the people, and especially the alums, the schools, the classes can come across with a new knowledge that bring them to understand the presence of the Judaism here in Italy, and also to behave better through the Jews.
All right, God willing. All right, thank you so much, Amado Spagnoletto. Much appreciated, and we'll see you in Ferrara soon. I'm coming.
I wait all the audience coming here in Ferrara to see the museum and the city. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Ciao.
Ciao.
Now turning to an amazing organization, Shalva. It's based in Israel that provides care programs for children with all kinds of disabilities. And it started in a small apartment with 8 children, and it's now celebrating its 35th anniversary with a huge gala in New York, raising millions of dollars. I-24 News correspondent Nicole Zedeck was at the celebration and filed this report.
Here in New York City, more than 500 guests have gathered for a very special occasion, the 35th anniversary of Shalva, the Israeli Association for the Care and Inclusion of Persons with Disabilities. 35 years ago, this organization started as a small operation. In fact, I spoke to the founder and president of how it all got started. Here's what he had to say.
Began 35 years ago as a result of my own son's medical problem at the age of 11 months. He became blind and deaf. Everybody wrote him off. And at the age of 8, he had a miraculous breakthrough to communication, the Helen Keller breakthrough. And my wife had made a promise that if God ever helps her son, she'll dedicate her life to helping other mothers with their children. And she turned to me and said, I made a promise, God delivered, it's payback time. We started a couple of years later with 5 children, and here we are 35 years later serving 2,000 families, parents every week.
It's truly amazing to see exactly how they've grown over the past 35 years. In fact, I also spoke to one of the chairmen of the organization who gave me an example of one of the families that they've been able to help just recently, in fact. Take a listen.
My friend who just made Aliyah from Brazil has a 3.5-year-old daughter who is on the spectrum, has a disability, and he said he and his wife went from a very unhappy life in Brazil to a happy life in Israel because of Shalva. Because Shalva gives them the ability to live their lives with help.
Tonight alone, this 35th anniversary gala has raised more than $3 million to all go straight into the Shalva organization. And there's one guest of honor here tonight as well, who has a big name for herself, Montana Tucker. She actually visited the Shalva house in Israel when she was there last. She said it was one of the most amazing experiences for her as well.
My experience at Shalva when I went to Israel was truly unforgettable. I probably mentioned this in my speech tonight, but from the second I walked in there, I had a smile on my face the entire time. The way that the staff cares for every single person there, and you can tell that all of the people there love all of the staff so much, and you can tell it's an unconditional love and support of one another. And I'm honored that I got a chance to dance with some of the kids there, and they say that I brought them joy, but truly they brought me joy.
So you can see and hear truly the amazing work that this organization has been doing over the past 35 years, and they continue to grow, really expanding their grasp not only in Israel, not only in the United States, but all throughout Europe as well, as the organization does aim to help as many people as they can and families with disabilities as well. Reporting in New York City for I-24 News, I'm Nicole Zedeck.
And that is all for this week's episode of Jewish World Weekly. Please head over to I-24 News' YouTube channel to catch up on this episode and previous episodes. Thank you so much for watching. We sure hope you enjoyed. And shalom from Tel Aviv until we see you next time.